We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. Davidson County Sheriff Daron Hall is with us. Before we get to the phone calls, I'm trying to get a handle around this, okay? Because it's really hot and humid out, and I'm trying to get a handle on Christmas in the summer. Okay, and of course, pretty clever. What is it that's going on now? You're doing...
Yes, so we're doing Christmas in July. You've heard of that.
Yeah.
We've kind of partnered with Last Minute Toy Store as kind of our charity in town.
Yeah.
We do it year round, and have really made it kind of our charity work. And they're great folks, do great things. And so what we decided to do was to do this Christmas in July. We have Christmas trees up. We have all sorts of decorations around the office and everything. And we allowed our employees, if they'll donate money, I think it's a gift card for the kids who don't have a Christmas, that's what it's for. Then you can wear relaxed uniforms and blue jeans on Fridays and all that. And then we asked people to bring in toys. I walked in this morning, I saw toys everywhere.
So the idea is you've got this going this summer now to try to just get more donations in place so you have much more come Christmas time.
Yeah, and we store all this for the Last Minute Toy Store at our warehouse all year long, and then you guys come out and do it. It is an amazing few days to watch, and an emotional thing. I was really moved by watching that happen, and last year was the first year it was on our campus, and it was an overwhelming, I think, hit for everyone.
Are people coming out though? You said you're getting toys.
Yeah, I had a guy, it was funny, you mentioned the construction thing. I had a guy email me the other day, and he said, hey, y'all still collecting toys? I didn't know who he was, and I said, yes, we are, bring him by anytime. It was one of the guys on the construction site walked in and brought, so there's a lot going on, and it's a good feeling. And I have to explain to everybody why do we have the Christmas or the holiday decorations up everywhere, but it's really fun. It's a good thing, and they do. Last Minute Toy Store is a phenomenal charity, and we've really enjoyed our partnership, and we're going to have, I think we have a lot to help at the end of the month of July. So
that is awesome. And one other thing you guys give, how many gallons of blood have you personally given?
Oh gosh. Well, I don't know about gallons. I thought I
saw something. I follow you on Twitter, and you posted something about how much you've given now.
And we have a great fun with that too.
I know. We were talking about the blood drive, which every year the Sheriff's Department wins. Yeah. Is it because you have bigger hearts? Oh, careful here.
I'm okay with it. We definitely don't have the biggest budget, but we can talk about that, or the biggest staff.
You got a lot of blood.
So I think we were at like 390 pints this year.
Okay.
We have 1,000 employees, so 390 people. Or we assume those are most employees. Families could do it too. Is a lot. I mean, awesome. I think the fire was 2 something, and police were right there too. So we have a lot of fun.
The whole community, everyone. You guys, fire, police,
great.
But you guys give. So you give at that event. I give during events, but I'm not a regular donor.
Yeah.
And sometimes if I hear that they're really short, I will. Yeah. Because I never liked needles. But yes, I will tough it out to get blood. You can do it, and then you get the little tasty Debbie cake later. But I mean,
I have an idea floating around. I will let you know later. But we're gonna include all of you guys one of these days soon, so we can have some fun. But I'm like you. I think I try to give, obviously, every year during that, and then if there's a crisis, which is a bad way of doing it, when there's a crisis, I'll try to run over there and do it. But I wish I would become the routine.
I know,
person.
and that's just, and you know what they actually say for men, giving blood is a healthy thing for you, because you do it, and your body has to replenish it, and every once in a while I'll give blood, and then I will go get a massage, and then I'll have a glass of wine, and then I take a bath. And boy, that really relaxes you. I don't know. I think it's because of the blood giving or whatever. It's just not. Well, the little one glass of red wine is going to build the blood back up.
I'm okay with that. I don't know about the other things.
Massage and then a bath. All right, let's go to Joe. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, Nick.
Hi, Joe.
Hey, good morning, Joe.
Congratulations, Nick, on your birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
The key won't work if you're in the inside.
I was wondering, not in the new jail it won't, that's for sure.
It won't work getting you out.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't have given him that. He couldn't do that.
This is awesome.
But anyway, back to the sheriff. I've lived long enough to being around to see from Garner Robinson on up as sheriffs, and it's a pleasure to listen to the sheriff talk, because you can hear the compassion in his voice to his employees, even the inmates, and in the future some of the mental people that's going to come into this jail. And I agree with him 100%. I mean, I'm going to be proud of the jail. He's carried forward with difficult tasks because they put it down there, because most of the people on the council wasn't even wasn't even born when that jail was even built back in the 60s. So I can remember that. So the jail should have been built out where he wanted it built, but that's past now, and he's went forward with it. And I'll have to say, we've got the best sheriff in the country.
Wow. Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. I think about you a lot when we were talking about this a minute ago. But I hope if you haven't, I hope you'll read Secrets of Hopewell's Box. Joe, you would really enjoy it. And I was born and raised here in Nashville, and to read back through, you mentioned Garner Robinson, some other names, and it is a phenomenal story, really, about what all was going on at that time, and obviously the sheriff was involved with some of that. And just a little tidbit, I was reading first couple of chapters. It's been a while back, and I picked it back up and started reading it again. And in the first couple of chapters, it tells a story of Murfreesboro Road. There was Central State Hospital, and I grew up a mile from that place, and so it talked in this scene in the book. This is prior to Metro government, but the road deputy, if you will, for the sheriff's office, or sheriff, was driving down Murfreesboro Road, and someone ran out from the guard shack from Central State and waved him down and said, "Hey, Nick Beres walked off again. Nick Beres walked off again." And so in the book, the sheriff deputy just drives down Murfreesboro Road. It seems like it's down there around Thompson Lane, almost, the way they portray it. Yeah. And the deputy picks up Nick Beres, drives him back, and drops him back off at Central State, and just kept going. And here's what's important to me. No one else would care but me, probably. But today, that same situation happens every day, except there's no Central State Hospital. Right. And the police officer who's not waved down by the hospital to go pick up Nick Beres, the police officer's pulling up to arrest you because there's nowhere else to take you, and then you end up going to jail instead of the hospital. And so in some ways, that little bit in the book is really our struggle today. It's someone who needs help, was at the hospital, walked off. Today we don't have a hospital to do that, so they're all coming here. And you don't have a deputy driving down the road picking you up, taking you for help in the hospital. We have them taking them to jail so that we can criminalize the behavior. So didn't want to get off on that, but I hope Joe reads Secrets of Hopewell's Box. A great read.
I'm glad you threw that out there. I mean, and Larry Britton used to talk. I mean, that book, it's worth the read.
It is.
Another sheriff, former sheriff, is seeking a pardon from the president.
I read that. I saw that.
Thank you for watching Channel 5. I broke the story. But this was Robert Arnold. He would not be the first sheriff pardoned by President Trump.
That's right.
Sheriff Ohio. Pardons are hard to come by, right?
Right.
Okay. I mean, I guess you can ask.
Right. If I were locked up, I would be asking, I would think. But I think realistically, and who am I to know? I have no idea.
The experts I've talked to, very slim chance. By the way, a sheriff, former sheriff like Robert Arnold, with his career, when he does get out, and he may be out in a halfway house by next May, he's done in law enforcement, is he not? Barring some type of pardon that clears everything. Anyone, not just him, that's facing a charge like that cannot be in law enforcement, correct?
No.
That's the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you surely couldn't run. He's a convicted felon. There is a waiver process. This would be way down in the weeds. To be like a correctional officer, you'd have to go, and that's any arrest. I mean, I've always said the law in Tennessee, believe it or not, the law in Tennessee, the way it's written, George W. Bush could not work in the jail. Because he'd been arrested. Yeah. It says you cannot have been convicted of anything, which is a bad law, by the way. Okay. I actually don't have any problem with hiring someone who 25 years ago was in Florida and did something silly on a spring break trip and got arrested. I'm not proud of that, but I think that's ridiculous to eliminate that candidate.
Yeah, because people change.
Right. And so, but there's a waiver process. But I don't see law enforcement ever in the future of Sheriff Arnold or I do. I think I read your story, and this is not about him. But I do think, and I think he used the words reform, criminal justice reform, and that's a big buzzword today. I do think there's space in this country to figure out what do you want to do with people that have done wrong, that you're trying to, and again, punish is a good word. Everybody can have their own. But I guess there are a lot of people that you don't ever think about that are in jail. Some are very old, some in prisons primarily. And I'm not sure what you're accomplishing anymore, and especially some of the laws that were passed in the 80s and 90s where you had serious 3 strikes and you're out and serious sentences for nonviolent drug offenses. And I'm not saying you should ignore what they did, but I read the way I think Sheriff Arnold was saying that he was a nonviolent first time, those types of things. I just think this country need to have.
Well, there's a lot of them there at the Club Fed in Montgomery, Alabama, where his point, and of course it's self-serving for him, but I mean he's going to be getting out maybe in a year anyway. But you wonder. I mean, there's a lot. He shares a jail cell row with the fellow that was convicted from Enron and some of the other very high-profile white-collar criminals at this facility down there. But his point is, you know, a lot of these folks could be on house arrest or not so much as mercy for them, because what they did was awful. You know, white-collar crime and destroying people's retirements and things like that's awful. But I'm just saying, do you want to be paying for the security at a facility like that when you could save the taxpayers a ton of money and get the same result by monitoring them elsewhere because they're nonviolent and they maybe already served some time? And that makes sense. You got to start looking at what's cost effective and what really works.
Yeah, you know, and I think, you know, as a victim of crime, and I understand why you want, you know, a pound of flesh, or you want something to happen, justice or whatever. But there's a lot of conversation around the country about things, restorative justice and other ideas about people who are even in violent crimes where you harmed me and we're trying to get you to learn your lesson and so forth. And part of that is, you hear this a lot in juveniles, not necessarily an adult. Part of that is trying to get you to come to terms with what you did to me. And some research is that if we can ever get you to accept and understand what you did, hurt me, harm me, you stole my car, you physically harmed me, that's the big issue, and trying to get you to stop doing it moving forward. Now, I'm not saying there's a test that it works. I'm saying that's just an idea. But I kind of see the other side on that, or what Sheriff Arnold was talking about. If you're going to spend all this money, what is it you want out of them? You don't want them in law enforcement, don't want them in a decision-making capacity. You want them to pay their debt to society. And my only question is there a way to get that accomplished? I'd like to have Martha Stewart's money. I don't know that her being in jail is really what this country benefited from.
Yeah, I didn't think she was a dangerous criminal, and you could get the money and let her do
build the prisons with her money or something. I don't know.
Good point. Listen, let's take a break on that. When we come back, more calls if you're on hold there. Dale, Robbie, and others. We'll get to you. Let's see, what else? We got Ann and Anderson. We'll get with more right after this. Is this?
The Storm 5 HD weather update. Sign up for Weather Call at newschannel5.com.